the game while the beat flows. At the sports bar where anything goes. Laughter and joy, we're in the zone. On the swivel at the sports bar. Cheering loud, feeling like a star. Good times, laughter and every score. On the swivel, come back for more. Come back for more. Tasty treats and soulful sounds. Feel the rhythm is where joy's found. With every cheer we come alive. Come on in, let's thrive and jive. In this moment we find our groove. On the swivel at the sports bar. Cheering loud, feeling like a star. Good times, laughter and every score. On the swivel, come back for more. Come back for more. Come back for more. Tasty treats and soulful sounds. Feel the rhythm, it's where joy's found. With every cheer we come alive. Come on in, let's thrive and jive. In this moment we find our groove. On the swivel at the sports bar. Cheering loud, feeling like a star. Good times, laughter and every score. On the swivel, come back for more. Swing on by, don't miss the fun. At the sports bar, the best begun. Come back for more. 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 Come back for more.
Hey, what's going on out there? So I'm Payne here, marriage, politics, and sports. Hey, welcome to the channel, Unique Sports Talk, and you're on the swivel at the sports bar. We're gonna talk. This is gonna be a quick one today. Probably be going solo, and we're gonna talk a little football, a few things. We're gonna use some. If we use any videos, it'll be all fair use, those kind of things. So, without further ado, let's just go see what's pop. Okay. Hey, listen, when you hear this on the replay, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know, if you have a comment, tell me what you think about the sports show and all that kind of good stuff. I'd appreciate that. And so let's just talk football. I mean, we can just go. The season's in full swing. We're at week 5, and you know how the football season is. That shit goes by pretty fast, right? And it's already starting to shape up. I mean, some teams are in trouble already. So this week coming up, there's a week 5 matchups, and some teams there's only 2 undefeated teams left, and that's cool. We knew that was going to happen. You're going to lose some games. So let's just see. Here's the standings. The Bills and the Eagles are the 2 undefeated teams. The Ravens are looking like a big disappointment. And my man, Lamar Jackson he's pressing. The team is pressing. He's pressing. And their defense sucks. Their defense sucks. They can't stop anybody. So they're losing to all the good teams. And they got their ass kicked by the Chiefs. It wasn't even a close game, if you ask me. And so I think Lamar, he pulled a hamstring, and so if he's out any appreciable games, listen, let me tell you, there's a good chance that they're not going to make the playoffs. I'm just telling you. There's a chance they're not going to make the playoffs. They look bad. So they're taking a major regressive step back. Maybe I'm panicking, but I don't think so. They play the Browns, I believe, this week. So I think they play the Browns. It should be a winnable game, but without Lamar Jackson, who knows? Well, they play the Texans, all right? So they could lose that game. You know, the Texans are not all that bad, right? They're both 1-3, so they're not one of my top fives. I didn't put them on as part of the top five. So here's my top games to watch. The 49ers and the Rams should be interesting. The Chiefs and the Jaguars. The Jaguars are playing better than a lot of people want to give them credit for. The Bucks, and the Seahawks. That may be an interesting game right there. The Lions and the Bengals. I think that'll be interesting. And, of course, the Pats and the Bills. Right? Division game. The Pats look like they have a little bit. They're trying to do something. So that should be interesting. Of course, if you have your favorite teams, they're going to be on your list. So this is just a list I plucked off. I watch the Red Zone channel. So the bottom line is I watch all the games as I can. The Red Zone channel is my favorite channel. So there you have it. All right. So what do we have? The Browns are going to start Dylan Gabriel. This guy's not, Lamar has nothing to do with the Browns starting. They're just going to talk about his injury. But the point really is they're starting this guy, Dylan Gabriel, over Shedeur Sanders. I don't even know why the Browns picked him because they don't like Shedeur Sanders at all. And I'm going to come back to him later on because he made his statement that he feels that he's better than some of the starters in the league already. And he's getting crushed by it. I mean, he's getting crushed for his, he's just getting crushed. I think it's unfair. I think a little bit of it is racist. And I don't play the race card, but they don't say that about confident white players. The guy was a pretty good quarterback in college. He deserved better than the fifth round. They hate him because they hate his father. And he's got a lot of his father's genes. But, I mean, the guy, maybe, he had a DUI, but he was already drafted low. So he's a little arrogant. So what? It's like if you're an arrogant black man, you need to be taken down a peg. I saw, what's that fat coach from the Jets? He's on Greeny's show. It sounded like he had something personal against Shedeur Sanders. He called him disgusting. It doesn't, for him saying that he thinks he could start over some of the players in the league and the way they came down on him for that, it just doesn't make any sense. You could feel the animus that some of these coaches, now they ain't all white. Some of the black analysts said the same thing. So let me be fair there. But it just doesn't make any sense. He can't be confident. He's got to be some kind of wet fucking noodle and to make people happy. I mean, that shit doesn't make any sense to me. So I think they're being overly not hard, they're just being unfair. So it's all right for a man to be confident, and he doesn't need to get taken down a peg because he said some of the shit that he says. So here's the power rankings that I just grabbed this. And we'll play this one so we can see, what this one analyst thinks is a power week 5 power ranking. Might be interested to go in there. I didn't look at the link, so I'm not going to play the whole thing. But I mean, if they can cover the teams, top, that might be something to look at.
Welcome to CBS Sports HQ. I'm Chris Hassel. I've got Leo Davis and Pete Frisco standing by with this week's new NFL power rankings. Got to give Pete some credit here. He had Eagles, Bills 1-2 before the season on their very own tier. And through 4 weeks, they are did you almost punch me, Alicia?
No, I know. I did see you.
They're the only 2 unbeaten teams in the league. And
let's just hold it here for a second to look at the rankings from 1 to 32. They got the Jets at 30. They got the Giants at 27. So the New York is out. They got the Cardinals at 20. The Jaguars at 12. So that Jaguar game might be better than people give it credit for. They got the Ravens at 16. And I'm not so sure the Ravens deserve to be 16. I'd probably put, Are they really that much better than Dallas? You know, so I mean, the way they played so far, I guess 16 could be a good place for them. But man, I'm kind of disappointed in them. So let's go ahead and hear what they got to say. This is a good little ranking thing here. I like that. Of course, it's going to change throughout the season, you know, or week to week, depending on the wins and losses. But I'm gonna try to follow this as I guess Pete Piscopo's rankings. I would imagine he might be doing this every week. So if I can find it and I can capture it every week, we'll pop this up there as one of the weekly things that we do. And so we could look at the rankings and how they change. That might be interesting. You know what I'm saying? All right. So let's hear what else they're talking about.
There you have it. We've got the Lions, who lost week 1 to Green Bay convincingly, all the way up to number 3. The Commanders fell 8 spots down to the middle. They are number 15 now. The Ravens down 5 spots to 16, dealing with a bunch of injuries. Here are your top 3 tiers. And in that middle tier, a couple of new teams here, Rams and Seahawks.
All right, so here's the tiers. Okay, they're looking at the tiers. All right. Look at, if you notice, they got the Super Bowl bound. Okay, they got the Eagles and the Bills. So far, they're both undefeated. Chasing the championship, the Lions, the Buccaneers. Okay, the Rams, Seahawks, Packers. So I like that grouping. You notice there's no AFC East teams in there. And then, of course, playoff loading, or whichever what that means. Okay, they got the perennial playoff team, the Steelers. This year, the Steelers not only got to make the playoffs, they got to win a game or two. They just do. I think this might be Thomas last year if they don't get past the first round. You know, that's just me talking. I don't know. I mean, they don't like to switch coaches, but they just may need another voice. I mean, you remember how long the Bengals stayed with the other brother. His name escapes me for some reason. Now that I'm thinking about it. They stayed with him too long. He couldn't win no playoff games, even though he was a perennial playoff coach. So the Steelers, the Chiefs, you notice, like I said, you notice that on that playoff loading, the Ravens are not on that list. The Ravens are not even on this list, and at 1-3, they don't deserve to be on that list because they're not even looking like a 1-3 team. They look pretty bad. So I would imagine it might be really crazy if they don't make the playoffs this year. I mean, it's early, but you know, I got to look at their whole schedule because it seems like every tough team they play like shit. You know, and Lamar is I think somebody got in his head where, you know, he used to just take off. Now he's trying to pass the ball when you know, he doesn't have anything to prove about his passing. He's got one of the number 1 rating passes in the league history. But sometimes you can see his hesitation on just taking off, you know, and just winning the game. Who gives a shit if we pass it or run it? So
jumping into that championship tier. And look at the Steelers all the way up to number 9. That's a 10-spot jump after beating the Vikings in Ireland. And the Steelers, one of 4 teams on a bye this week. Let's get into it. Chris Hassel with Lee J.
Well, so we don't have to go any further than that. I just wanted to see the listings. And I think that's the whole show for us. We don't need to hear them pontificate any further. So I'm gonna be coming back to that hopefully throughout the year. And seeing how the power rankings change, and that'll be interesting. Okay, so college football. Let's talk about college football and how, you know, the games this week coming up, week 6. You know, we got to talk college football, man. You know, I don't know how much you watching, but you know, I catch one every so often. I mean, Saturdays is flooded with college football. You can't turn anywhere without seeing it.
Here are the top 10 college football games of week 6. At number 1, we've got a Missouri team getting tested and Texas A&M trying to pass a test after failing one against Notre Dame earlier this season. Texas Tech at Arizona, a Big 12 matchup flying under the radar. Arizona coming off a win over Utah. Texas Tech has recovered their season nicely after an early stumble. South Carolina hosts Ole Miss. The Gamecocks, a team that love to upset teams, and Ole Miss coming off of an upset loss versus Kentucky. SMU at Louisville is a huge ACC battle to determine the pecking order near the top of the conference. UNLV faces a big test against Syracuse. They have a chance to build a really compelling playoff resume. Michigan-Washington is a rematch of the national title game from last season. Rutgers at Nebraska, really intriguing battle between a couple of teams battling for a spot in the top 25. UCF at Florida, the Gators need that. We got College game day at Cal, and then Ohio State, their biggest test of the year against Iowa. Let me know down in the comments, which of these games are you looking forward to?
Hey,
Here are the top 10.
So that's this guy. I followed him last week. I'm gonna try to keep coming back to his top 10 games. He's doing the analysis, so fair use. But that's good to see. All right, so we're talking about basketball now, right? So Perk is doing his top 5, Stephen A impression. So let's hear what Perk has to say now. If we can get past his droll and all that shit. He's with Malika Andrews, not one of my favorite people. But let's go hear what he's talking about. I thought I had Westbrook. I thought Westbrook retired, but I think his name is still in the hat. I guess he's just waiting for the best offer. So let's see what he's talking about.
In the NBA, we're officially 3 weeks away from opening night. Training camp, it is in full swing, which means it's that time of year. Big Perk has his big list. Perk, what are you looking at here?
Well, Malika, is Big Perk's big list of most important players entering training camp, okay? And look, I don't have time for my rules because I'm getting some new rules in place for the regular season. And since this preseason, I'm going to be nice to you and Monica. But coming in at number 5, bam, put it up there. Cooper Flag. We haven't seen a situation like this since the Spurs drafted Tim Duncan. You know what I mean? Back way long time ago.
Yeah, listen, man, Cooper Flag is good. I mean, he actually is good, man. He's going to really be good in the NBA, and he's going to be good for the NBA. So, kudos. We need an American-born white boy. He's good. I believe he's American. He's good, man. This guy is something else.
Well, young guy prospect like Cooper Flag is coming into a situation where he's been drafted to a title contender. And I'm looking at the Mavs to get him ready, use this training camp, use this preseason to get him ready to.
Yeah, they bent the envelope for them to get this guy. It's kind of like the Ewing situation in New York. Everybody believes there was some shenanigans going on with that pick. There's no way they should have got this guy. How Dallas gets, they got rid of Luka, and then all of a sudden they get this guy. It's dirty as hell,
But not only be a guy that they know he could be for as a scorer, a defender, and play multiple positions, but a primary ball handler. Coming in at number 4, Monica, where you at, girl? I need your energy on this.
Boom, 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 bam.
There you go. Jonathan Kuminga. Because you have Steph, you have Jimmy, you have Draymond. All of those guys are senior citizens.
He's not that good, man. He hasn't really impressed me that he should be causing so much angst on this team. Man, he's good, but he doesn't seem like a difference maker to me. And now he got his hair blonde. To me, that means he ain't really that serious, as far as I'm concerned. I guess they need him to plug some holes in there, but he doesn't really strike me as a game changer for their team, even though they need the youth, and if they're going to get rid of him, they got to get something fair for him. But I don't think he makes that much. I don't think he's a difference maker, but I'm not a goddamn scout. So what do I know?
Trying to win an NBA championship and come out of a tough Western Conference, and here you are right now. You have a distraction. They need to get this under control. They need to get him to training camp and try to have him with the right mindset. And it's going to start with the front office and the head coach and Steve Kerr.
So they're like me. They don't want to pay him. I mean, it comes down to that. They actually don't want to pay this guy. That's the only reason why you have contract, issues. With all the money they have, they don't think he's worth the money he's asking for. I mean, it's as simple as that. If he was a darling, if his hair wasn't blonde, if he wasn't looking like an asshole, I think they would sign him. But you know what? He's asking for more money than they think he's worth.
coming in at number 3. Bam! Put it up there. Kawhi Leonard, we see what's going on. We see all the allegations, the rumors, the investigation, all that. But they have a great leader over there in Tyronn Lue, who's the head coach. And now it's time for him to go into training camp, listen, deal with this situation, and say, we're here to play basketball and make sure that Kawhi, your best player, has the right mindset and could go out there on the floor and produce at a high level with a clear head. Coming in.
Well, somebody said that he was out at Clippers, so that wasn't true if he's still there. But it's still, it's not up to Ty Lue, it's not up to Kawhi Leonard, but somebody's got to fix that issue with the allegation that he got money under the table. Now, if you're telling me that the commissioner and everybody's going to just kind of turn a blind eye and said, oh, it was all a misunderstanding, blah, 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 and they're going to let it slide, cool. But if there's some resolution now, I don't think he's going to get in trouble. But there should be a suspension for the owner or something like that. If they, sweep it under the rug, they got to do it now, because in the middle of the season, it's going to be a distraction if they don't finish this investigation. That's my take.
Malika, where you at, girl? I need your energy on this. I need it. There you go. Joel Embiid. We've been seeing videos on social media of him working out. He looks skinny. Is he healthy? We saw the reports where he asked the organization and talked about how the trust is broken. We need to see what Joel Embiid is going to look like, how he's feeling. If I'm feeling, I got to make sure he is in the right headspace coming into this season.
Okay, so
and at number 1, put it up there. Bam! I know this may be surprising, but Russell Westbrook. Because he's not on the training camp roster. He's not on anybody's roster right now.
But he retired.
It is surprising to a lot of people. He should be on somebody's roster.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Listen, today, he's on there with these honey hyenas, man, and they treating him like doo-doo. Anyway, let's just keep going, man. Get my misogynistic bullshit out of the way. All right, the WNBA. What do we have cooking here? Now, the Fever, I think the best thing that happened for the WNBA, I shouldn't say the best thing, but I think it's a good thing. Is it good? I think it's, they dodged a bullet with the Fever not beating the Aces and going to the championship game. Because if the Fever would have beat the Aces to get to the championship without Caitlin Clark, all they would be talking about is Caitlin Clark during the whole finals. That's all they would have been talking about. Oh, but the team is better without her. She's a ball hog. Or they would say, man, can you imagine? I would be saying, can you imagine how good they will be when she comes back? And they fit her into the rotation the right way. But, so they were playing on emotions. They were playing, Fever were playing very good basketball, based on the fact that they had something to prove in terms of the team. Not they have any real problem about Caitlin Clark, because she was on the sidelines for a lot of these games. So she was cheering them on some of the other hurt players. So they got some depth on that team. So Caitlin had to come back and understand that, maybe she doesn't have to have the ball that long. But the Aces probably were a better team in general. So that down the stretch in that overtime, they were just too strong for the Fever, and that's why they won. You know what I'm saying? But that's not one of the. This is really not a flattering picture of Asia Wilson, but there you go. So it should be an interesting series coming up. So hey, the WNBA finals right around the corner. I guess it starts in a few days. So stay tuned. Probably starts this weekend. Stay tuned. All right, so here you go. I didn't put the dates on here. Okay, it's the Lynx against the Aces. And, there you have it. Should be interesting. Should really be an interesting game. Series. I think I'm looking forward to seeing the series. So I didn't update the ties. Of course, it's, I didn't update this in a while, but of course they won 3-2. Game 5 over here. Then Minnesota won, I think, 3-1 or some shit like that. All right, baseball. And the season's over, but I still put too early to track. I can't stand baseball, man. But I need to get that off of there for the next what's we call it. The season's over, playoffs getting ready to start. Mets got eliminated, that kind of stuff. But there's the home run derby. Cal won it. He's got 60 home runs. It's always a milestone. Schwarber has 56 and Otani has 55. So good for them. This is a great season. It was a good race, but Rowley took it over near the end. Even though Schwarber had one game where he hit 4 in a row. That was interesting. We used that as a highlight. So 162 games in the books. 162 games in the books, and playoffs going to start. So the next time I'm going to take this down and put up what the brackets are, and and we're going to watch some. I might watch some playoff games. I know if the Yankees are in there, but I'm not really that sanguine about the Yankees. Even if they have hitting, usually in the playoffs, the hitting fails them. And the pitches, the pitches win the playoffs. That's the way it is. So I hope they go far, though. And then, of course, the Mets fell and crumbled down the end of the season, and they're out of the playoffs. So it should be an interesting playoff series for the baseball, and I'll cover it. All right. So Molly Curran, of course, is out at ESPN. And even though Stephen A. kind of threw her under the bus when he said, because he said some shit that's, it's not about Molly, but you have to understand that you got bosses and all that kind of shit. I think he was giving hints that she was trying to get tough in her negotiations for a new contract, and ESPN wasn't having it. Now, I don't think she was trying to get Stephen A. money. But she wanted to be relative. If he's getting paid $20 million a year and she anchors his show, no matter what he's doing, and the things that she probably does to keep his show running smooth, with all the different guests and being a moderator, I mean, that had to be worth something other than, because she wasn't even making $1 million a year. Not with ESPN. I think she was making like $500,000-600,000. So with the new contracts out there, I could see her saying, hey, shit, man, I need to get $2 million a year out of this, or whatever the undisclosed amount is. But I know she was looking for, a 7-figure deal. I'm sure she was. And, so it's up to you to think, you think she was worth it? If you have a comment, put it in the comment thing on replay if you get that far. I think she should have got it, but she might have been outrageous. She might have been asking for $5 million. Who knows? I was going to click this link because my man, he gets on her. He don't like Molly. A lot of people, have issues with Molly, but I'm doing enough riffing for the bunch of them. Now, understand she might be going to Fox, Sports 1. I saw something saying that. I didn't really pursue it because now this controversy came out, and I think it's not fair calling her she's a diva, but you know what? Nobody's a bigger fucking diva than Stephen A. Smith. Nobody's a bigger diva than he is. He's the biggest diva in the sports world. But is she delusional for kind of comparing what she should get paid to a guy sitting next to her making $20 million a year? Now, of course, Stephen A. does everything. He's like working 24/7. He's just getting after the bag, man. Just the bag. His own podcast. He's on Sirius. I can't imagine how much he's making every year. He's got to be making maybe close to $30 million a year just for talking. Now, of course, she's not going to do that but a couple of million? ESPN, as much money that they blow on the bullshit movie and programming that they do, they could have paid her over $1 million a year. I could see her doing that. She's a woman alone. So she's looking for security. But there you have it. Molly Curran out. Cutie pie, getting old in the tooth, but she's still a cutie pie. Okay, Nafisa Collier goes off on a WNBA commissioner. I mean, and it's really crazy how she went off. And this podcast is by Teague, the 520 podcast. It's not bad. Let's see what she has to say.
Speaking of MVP dropped a bomb on the W yesterday. The Fisher Collins went crazy yesterday on the commissioner. She got her shit off. Please play an excerpt of this, boy. She covered all bases, no stone left unturned. Being able to talk to the commissioner like that is fire, especially when you're the president of the Association of Players. Let's play this, please.
Again, they got a little pause in. I think they want to play the clip. You know,
and Professor Collier, she said that the conversation.
Nah, basically, she was just saying, you know.
Yeah, they play.
It's piss poor, bro.
But do y'all think they saying all this because they lost, bro?
Duh.
They lashing out because they got beat, bro.
But I think it's a bigger player. They want her out of there.
Yeah. All right. We don't got the video, so I'll go through a couple of things she touched on the situation. It's been in conversation the last year and a half about the players potentially having a lockout, right?
Yeah.
They are unhappy with some of the splits they're getting for what's going on. They want better they want better leadership. They want better referees. They just upset with how everything is going, right? So she gets in there and she does what she does best. She basically says, listen, we playing for a league. They don't give a damn about us, bro. Like, you see how our commissioner talks about hers and brought the receipts. And she's like, you know what I'm saying? The younger players in the league are bringing more revenue in. They shouldn't have to wait 4 years to get paid. And she basically said, yeah, Caitlin Clark should be happy that W's behind her because that's how she get all this endorsement money, which is absolutely true and untrue and stupid. Also, what she talked about, just some of the stuff is like as far as including the players and stuff and some of the deals they're making. After she went crazy on her, they unleashed that they had a new TV deal that's going on for 11 years. In a growing league, signing an 11-year deal is absolutely insane. And the players don't even like the situation. They're going to have a lockout. The Physicality has unrivaled. A lot of players have signed up for that as an alternative. They got the W on their heels. It is just crazy that she really got audited off against the commissioner yesterday. And everybody agreed with her.
You know, that thing with the unrivaled league, which was a success, by the way, a real success. And the money that they got out of that league was pretty impressive for the first year. And they're coming back now, and they're probably going to try to have more women trying to play for the unrivaled league now. I watched some of those games, you know, with the 3-on-3 full court, you know, on a small court. I believe that's what 3-on. I just have a feeling, man, you know, what's really crazy was that the WNBA didn't have a way to prohibit them from starting this new league with their own players. Right now, the NBA would never allow NBA players to start a rival league. You know what I'm saying? You know, so there was a loophole that they found so these ladies could make money. And it turns out the unrivaled league generated enough money to pay some serious bonuses. And then, you know, the way they set it up, that if you turned out on the tournament within the tournament and you turned out to be the best player, I think that was $250,000 prize money, you know. So we'll see how that shit plays out because, you know, the ladies are saying, listen, you ain't paying us enough, so we got to do everything we can to make money. So the Unrivaled League and the way that kind of dovetails with the WNBA is going to be interesting. I think there's going to be some battles that's going to get worse. And then they have to do something about the refs. I mean, just because it's the female referees, the league, female league, the refs can't be that bad. So whatever training program they have, you know, they ain't paying the refs. I don't know, they're just grabbing it out of high school or some shit like that, but it don't seem like they're that good. Anyway, so she went off on the commissioner. The commissioner came back at her. And stay tuned because this shit ain't over. And they're right. The league is going to lock these women out. They're going to just lock them out and say, listen, you know what? Enough of your bullshit. We're going to just make you guys sit for a year. Anyway, so we'll see how that plays out. I got a couple of questions here. Brittany Renner is haunting PJ Washington because he's got the big bag. And now she's trying to get $35,000 a month of child support for a 4-year-old. because somehow just being a baby mama entitles her to have the lifestyle of the man that she gave a baby to. That's just bullshit. And one of the things that PJ Washington should do to threaten her, not even threaten her, he should just go to the court and petition to get full custody of the kid. That's what he should do. You know, and they say they might not take it. If she can't afford to keep the kid based on what he gives her, then give me the kid. Right? Because we're not married. I don't owe her a lifestyle. And the kid doesn't have to have a lifestyle just because I'm rich. Matter of fact, you know, she's from a state that, you know, she moved to California to try to get a bigger bag. But that's not where the baby was born. And that's not where she's from, Mississippi. You know, so there are states, you know, that if he really wants to be a prick about it, he said, wherever you have got pregnant and had the baby, we should go by the child support in that state. I don't owe you a California lifestyle. So right now she's getting 5.5, but she's hounding him because he got a new wife, new money, and that new woman is living a life she wished she had when she was just a predator, you know, kind of predator on a young man. And this shit didn't work out in her favor. Now, she was maybe 5-6 years older than PJ Washington when they hooked up, you know, so, but she knew she was a seasoned chick and he was just an asshole. And he got her pregnant, you know, and she's been haunting his ass ever since, you know, and obviously he learned a lesson. He didn't do that. He didn't do like Anthony Edwards, that asshole is going to be destroyed himself, or like Zion Williams, he's an asshole. And these guys are going to get crushed and destroyed by women because they are really, really no discipline with their seed. Okay, Shedeur Sanders came out. I talked about this a little bit. You know, he made his statement that he thinks he's better than many quarterbacks that are starting in the NFL. And he's getting crushed and vilified for it. And it doesn't make any sense to me because he has confidence. You know, people are trying to crush him and trying to break his spirit. And it ain't fair. It ain't fair. And, you know, I don't know if Stephen A. or anybody else came out and tried to defend him, but I didn't see anything wrong with what he said. And the way they're crushing him it's just beyond me, man. What the hell's the matter with y'all, man? So what? The brother has confidence. And then, of course, did the NFL make a mistake by picking this freak, Bad Bunny? What the hell did the NFL do by making this guy their halftime show? I mean, he dresses like a tranny. The grooming kids. Why would they put this guy? He doesn't even speak English, right? I mean, he does all his shows are mostly in Spanish, you know, and you know, so that's his biggest audience. But does anybody really know what his records are? You mean the NFL, the people from the NFL, the people who go to the Super Bowl? You think any of them really listen to Bad Bunny? You know, so I just think that the NFL's on this kick, man, with the goddamn rainbow flags, and now Bad Bunny. I have a feeling it's one of those kind of things that whoever's, you know, I think they put Jay-Z in charge. I think they put Jay-Z in charge of the entertainment, and this is a big mistake. It's going to backfire. They're going to probably go through it with it. And it's going to be, unless Bad Bunny puts on a cosplay where he acts like a man and he sings records that people can recognize, or even if he sings his own records, but he ain't doing it in drag, have a whole bunch of queers up there, LBGQs and all that kind of stuff. We're talking about the NFL. We're talking about the NFL. So we also already know that the NFL has, you know, I guess drag queen cheerleaders and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me how the NFL and the kind of game it is, it has gone woke in a time when woke ain't popular no more. So anyway, they're still all billionaires. and they don't give a shit. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, a big fight coming up in this month, October. It's not as big as the other one, but this guy Fedora is a tall dude, man. He's really tall. He's going to be punching down at Thurman. I think Thurman hasn't had an impressive fight in years. So I would imagine he's not going to win this fight, I don't think. He hasn't been impressive. This guy, Fedora, is he's got decent punching power, but he has such a length advantage. It's going to give Thurman some problems. That's what I think. That's what I think. Thurman's in trouble, but he hasn't fought in a long time, and that's the biggest problem with boxing, that these guys don't fight enough. My man who does fight enough, the guy from Japan, Norway, he's got another fight coming up before the end of this year. That means he's going to have fought 4 times this year as a champion. So he stays busy. Of course, maybe the money is what makes him do it, but he stays busy. But all these other guys, man, they fight once in a year, once every 18 months. The way boxing is, these guys don't fight each other enough. And it's hurting the game, and it's been that way for a while. But now that my man from the UFC might get a piece of this and start making some deals, Dana White is getting involved. I think he's going to cross over in some boxing things. Netflix is involved. They're going to force people to fight each other. They're going to force people, and it's not going to be this farce of a fight. With Tank Davis, who's 140 pounds, going to fight Jake Paul, who's 200 pounds. It's just the stupidest shit in the whole world. But people are going to watch it. Now, since I have Netflix, I'm going to probably watch it, but I'm going to be upset. Well, I'm not going to be upset. I'm going to watch it and say, this is absurdity of this thing. And if Jake Paul loses to Tank Davis, it'd be really crazy. And now they say it's an exhibition, and if they just walk around the ring and not try to throw punches at each other, people are going to be really, really pissed. Okay, and then, of course, David Benavidez is going to fight Yarde in November as well. And that should be an unbelievable fight, because David Benavidez is one of the toughest guys, pound for pound, in boxing. And Canelo will tell you that, because Canelo don't want no part of it. He didn't want no part of David Benavidez, not one bit. And now that Benavidez has moved up to 175, Canelo, he's staying at 168. Even though he lost his last fight, it doesn't really mean too much in terms of his record. Anytime Canelo laces it up, he's going to command millions and millions and millions of dollars. Benavidez might try to come back down to 168 to get a piece of him. Canelo might use that as his parting fight, but it would be really interesting. The guy's made so much money. I wouldn't be surprised if his boxing purse would be around $600-700 million with his DAZN contract and all that other shit, man. Canelo made well for a Mexican fighter. He made well for himself. There's no doubt about that. Anyway, what's next? All right, so listen, like, share, and subscribe. We come to the end. If you have some comments about the show, let me know. Every Wednesday, I may go back to doing this live, but you know what? If I have to, I can edit stuff out, so I don't mind doing it and let you guys look at it on a replay. Just hit the like button, though, and fair use for all the things, all the videos that I used. And with that, here's a fair use disclaimer. So hey, thanks for joining me. If you made it this far on a swivel, I appreciate it. And for that, I'm gonna give you the little outgo and outro, and we're gonna move on until next week, episode 45. This was like a quick one, like I said. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
Grab your friends, it's time to play. Join the fun, we're here all day. Watch the game with drinks in hand. On the swivel, let's take a stand. On the edge of our seats, we live for the thrill. In this moment together, we're feeling the chill. So here's to the laughter as we gaze at the stars. We say goodnight from the swivel at the sports bar. In the flicker of the screens where our spirits ignite, let's cherish this time as we fade into light. Tasty bites and big screen thrills. Every moment gives you chills. High fives and cheers, it's quite a sight. Join the crowd, it feels so right. As the game goes on, our hearts beat as one. Memories in the making, oh, this night's just begun. So here's to the laughter as we gaze at the stars. We say goodnight from the swivel at the sports bar. In the flicker of the screens where our spirits ignite, let's cherish this time as we fade into light. So good night, my friends, till we meet again. In this world of the game, through thick and through thin.
Like, share, and subscribe. Unique Sports Talk. Good night from the swivel at the sports bar.